I want to start this video off by saying that I support Russell Westbrook. So everybody that clicked this video ready to get mad at me or just absolutely slander me, all I ask is that you hold off for just a second. Just hear me out to the end of the video and see what I have to say. Russell Westbrook is one of those polarizing players where it feels like everybody has a different opinion. He's one of those guys that you either love or you either hate. And of course, there are guys that are in the middle, but I don't know. Sometimes it feels like when Westbrook is brought up, some people just throw logic out of the window. I'm not a Lakers hater. I'm not a Westbrook hater. As a matter of fact, it might have been better if I was a Lakers hater. If you guys watch the Laced Up podcast, you would know that I picked the Los Angeles Lakers to be one of the best teams in the NBA this season. While I had my reservations about the Los Angeles Lakers coming into this season, I thought everything would be cool. I thought LeBron would do his thing again. You know, that thing that he does where he makes questionable rosters look not so questionable. Honestly, LeBron has gotten so many people in the NBA paid, and I'm not even just talking about NBA players, coaches, assistants. I mean, for nearly 2 decades, LeBron has literally been the ultimate Band-Aid. If you put a healthy Bron on the Pelicans right now, do you think that the New Orleans Pelicans are in the NBA playoffs? If your answer is yes, then you have proved my point. If your answer is no, then David Griffin really has to go. Speaking of David Griffin, LeBron James literally had people telling me that David Griffin was an NBA genius. Okay, well, genius might be stretching the truth a little bit, but people told me that David Griffin was a competent to really good basketball mind for being able to build around LeBron James. Man, all I can do is laugh. David Griffin is literally the guy that got Anthony Bennett drafted #1 overall. When Griffin was asked about Bennett busting, his response was crap happens. This video we have a ton to talk about. We have to discuss Russell Westbrook. We have to discuss LeBron James, and most importantly, we have to discuss what in the world is happening down in Los Angeles. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because you will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video. And that's facts. If you guys enjoy my content, be sure to check out my streams. The link to my stream is going to be down in the description below. When this happened, I literally thought that things couldn't get any worse. You have to be kidding me, right? It's been that type of season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Carmelo Anthony, wide open, not a body in sight. And here's the thing, Melo doesn't just miss here, he misses bad. An uncharacteristic miss from somebody that has absolutely been shooting the lights out for the Los Angeles Lakers, which by the way just adds insult to injury because Melo has been playing great. This guy's been averaging 16.5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, and the Lakers are still losing. The Lakers have still been bad, at least by the standards that Lakers and Lakers fans have set for themselves. Guys, at the time that I'm making this video, Melo is literally shooting 48% from the field and 49.2% from the three-point line. He's shooting a better percentage than Karl Anthony Towns, who's actually shooting 49%. He's shooting a better percentage than Stephen Curry, who is shooting 37.5%. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did feel dirty saying that one because Stephen Curry is hands down the best shooter in the NBA, regardless of if the stats do or don't say it. I mean, this guy takes and makes some of the toughest shots I've ever seen. He's a literal video game. I don't say things like this often, but the shots that he's allowed to take and miss speak for themselves. A good shot for Stephen Curry is not the same as a good shot for your average three-point shooter. To get back to Carmelo Anthony, my guy's been balling. He's even knocking down threes at a higher clip than Damian Lillard, who's unfortunately shooting threes at 24.7% this season. Man, it's been a weird season, but maybe not too weird because Dame lit the Lakers up from behind the arc. Though Dame struggled from deep this season, versus the Lakers, he shot 6 of 14. Even though the Blazers would go on to win by 15, it felt like they won by 50 to me. There have been some troubling consistencies in the Lakers season this year that you just can't ignore, like the struggles of Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers' effort. Carmelo Anthony is completely right. It has to be the next man up.
Just playing basketball. I think for the most part tonight we should have we didn't play basketball. We didn't just go out there and compete. We didn't play hard. We only played in spurts. Those guys came out hitting on all cylinders, especially in that first half to get that big lead. But it's going to be like that. This is part of the game. We don't know who's going to be in there. We don't know. We can't control injuries. We can't control what guys are going through physically. So it is next man up. It sounds cliche, but it is what it is. We still got to go out there and compete.
Though LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and whoever may miss time, you can't hold your head down. At the end of the day, you have to go to battle with what you have. If there's no LeBron, if there's no Anthony Davis, everybody should be playing 2, 3, 4 times as hard, because now you have to compensate. Now you don't have those guys that you can necessarily lean on for long stretches of the game. Now, I don't want anybody to get confused and say that this video is me being out on the Los Angeles Lakers, because I still do think that they have some things that they do well, and even though we may not focus on that this video, we will most definitely do that in the future. As a matter of fact, if you guys want a dedicated Carmelo Anthony breakdown, let me know down in the comments below. I'll be sure to bring that to you guys. Versus the Portland Trailblazers, Russell Westbrook played one of the worst games that I'd seen him play. And that's going to happen. This guy is human. He's going to have bad games. It's all about how you bounce back. He had 8 points, 6 turnovers. He was 1 of 13 from the field. Things just weren't going his way versus the Portland Trailblazers. When there's no LeBron and Westbrook is cold and having an off night, things are going to be rough for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a top-heavy roster at the end of the day, or at least the roster is going to seem top-heavy until other guys outside of Carmelo Anthony and Austin Reeves start to step up. A lot of people have marked Russell Westbrook as the guy that has to carry this roster of minimum players without LeBron James. And though Russell Westbrook is capable of doing things like this, it's a tough position to be in, because when things don't work out, everybody's going to turn around and they're going to look at you if you're not playing well. I don't think it's Russell Westbrook's fault that the Los Angeles Lakers went out and traded Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and traded Montrezl Harrell, who has been absolutely fantastic, by the way. A lot of some fans, I'm not going to say a lot, were out on Montrezl Harrell. It never made sense to me. Trez always played with energy. He always played with passion. And then defensively, this guy's gotten better. Now, of course, there's a chance that keeping Trez simply wasn't in the cards or plans for the Los Angeles Lakers. But at the end of the day, it's tough to argue that this team could not use better depth. Look, you can't tell me right now the Lakers aren't missing Caruso in the gang. I know a lot of people hated on Kyle Kuzma, and while he hasn't had the most efficient season in Washington, I've liked what I've seen. I really wish that it was possible to see what Russell Westbrook would have looked like on the Lakers last season with a deeper roster, or at least what felt like a deeper roster. Contrary to popular belief, I don't think that Russell Westbrook, the player, is the hardest player to build around. What I think is hard to build around with Russell Westbrook is his contract. Next year, Russell Westbrook is due to make nearly $50 million. That's more money than LeBron James, and that's more money than Anthony Davis. When you make a big three with guys getting paid like Russell Westbrook, when players in that big three miss time, you're going to see a significant drop-off. Now, missing time or not, if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, I don't want to see them playing close games and losing to teams like the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. When Jalen Green hit the shot, the first thing I thought was, here we go again. If you ask me, the Lakers should have lost that game. Look, I know the refs were bad and they've been bad, but if Jalen Green gets the ball on this inbounds instead of KPJ, that record down in LA might be looking a little different. Right now, teams aren't scared of the Los Angeles Lakers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander taking and making this shot told me everything that I needed to know. Yeah, and we still haven't forgot about Baisley's exclamation point either. Why do you guys think that the Los Angeles Lakers dropped a second game to the Oklahoma City Thunder? Some people are pointing the finger at Russell Westbrook because of the way he closed the game.
No. Just watch the game. You see what happened. Lost the ball. I missed a three. It's not nothing to it.
I'm not going to lie, man. Russell Westbrook has some dense press conferences, but at the same time, these reporters know what they're doing when they ask those questions. While some people were blaming Russell Westbrook, AD seems to think that there was a schematic problem. AD said the Thunder knew their coverages. They knew what we were doing the entire second half. Their coach O'Shea or whoever it was made an adjustment to put their players in the right spot. Am I tripping, or was that a jab at Vogel? While no coach is perfect, Vogel's rotations have to get better. There should never be a point where Russell Westbrook, AD, LeBron, or Carmelo Anthony aren't in the game. Oh yeah, and while we're talking about jabs and Vogel, he made it very clear that he wasn't happy with Russell Westbrook's final shot in the Thunder game. Not great. We want to get a better look than that. Hey, you guys let me know what you think about this shot. I think all of the blame getting placed on Russell Westbrook is unfair. But if the Lakers want to be playing in the big game at the end of the year, then going forward, not only does he have to be better, but so do the Los Angeles Lakers. Let me know your thoughts about everything going on down in the comments below. I'm Get Like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.